Hey, and welcome to the Big Jim Show. I know we usually do a comedy slash whatever, but this one is going to be a particularly dark one. This is actual true story of ours that, me and Annette decided we needed to share with everyone. So just bear with us and listen up, because this is kind of a serious thing. And we're not going to name names. We're not going to name, things. We're just listen to our story. And I guarantee you it's pretty much going to be the same as anywhere else as far as events go. So here it is.
So the topic for today is MLMs, companies that draw you in and keep you there and tell you that they are your only friend. You shouldn't communicate with anyone else but them. And it's they keep you in there, they keep you trapped like a cult. They tell you things to keep you within their company. They tell you things that it's a horrible thing. MLMs are not something that anybody should ever experience. If you have to pay to join any kind of company, it's an MLM. And I'm here to tell you guys, if you ever come across this kind of thing, avoid it. Just don't do it.
Just run away.
Run far away. Run as fast as you can, because this is true. This is our story, and it's not a farce. This is true events.
So, the story is these MLM. What it is a multi-level marketing company, and they promise you pretty much the world. They promise you financial freedom. They promise you all this other stuff, and it ends up being a cult. And
very much a cult.
It's not a good thing to go through. Our story is this. A few years back, we had put an ad out on Facebook saying that we were looking for work. My wife was looking for work. And again, we're not going to name the company. We're not going to name individuals because we, There are some good people, and then there are some not so good people, and we don't feel that their names are very important to the story. So here we go.
Yeah, we just want to share our story.
Yeah, we just want to share our experience, and from what we gathered through the last year of research, the things that we've experienced are relatively the same, cultish, the same kind of thing. So. Anyways, we had put an ad, I shouldn't say an ad, but a post out on Facebook that we were looking for work. Mainly for my wife, because I was set and ready for my job. The individual came to us on Facebook saying, hey, I've got an opportunity for you and everything else. And so I was like, okay, well, that's cool. We can do this. And so the individual ends up calling my wife the next morning, and of course they all say it's an interview, but really it's just a thing to get people in. And I know my parents have tried things like this before in a small town, and it didn't really work, really, because I always thought, well, small town, something like that's not going to work in a small town. Turns out it really doesn't matter if you're in a small town or not.
It doesn't work in a big city either.
It took a chunk out of my soul. It took a chunk out of my wife's soul, and it just, you had to pay to join. And when she took the phone interview, and was really excited about it. And we went to the office the next day, and we pulled into the parking lot, and I seen the logo, and I thought, okay, against my better judgment, we went ahead and went inside. We should have just turned around and ran at the same time we pulled up. But we were new in town at the time. So, and we wanted to, when we first moved down, we wanted to start our own business. You know, we had read books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, books like that, The Art of a Deal, things like that. We've read these before. And I thought, well, what if we applied these to a business? What if we started our own business? So we ended up moving. I took a job out of town. We ended up moving. And they get you when you're vulnerable. Now, some people, it's more like, I'm vulnerable because I'm out of work. I'm vulnerable because, you know, I grew up poor, which we did. People like me, I wanted to start my own business pretty much at any cost. Be careful what you say at any cost. That's where they get you.
Yeah, be careful because the devil is listening.
Yeah, not to throw religion in there or anything, but little ears are listening and they look at you and go, oh, at what cost? So we get into the office, we go in for the interview. I was wanting to start a business, so we paid to join. We paid to work. Looking at it now, it's that was a dumb thing to do. But they catch you, like I said, they catch you when you're vulnerable. They catch you when you're vulnerable. Had we have been in good shape, we would have just said, no, you know, we're not interested, and then we'd have been on down the road. Well, after about X amount of years of dealing with this company, I had gotten terminated from my job because that was all that was on my mind. That was all these guys, these people, they brainwash you. It was all that they do is they brainwash and brainwash and brainwash, and then they'll tell you straight out, oh yeah, my brain needed to be washed.
Yeah, they tell you they're going to give you a good brainwashing from everything else that you've ever known.
So anybody who's ever joined an MLM, you've heard that phrase before. I'm almost certain that you have. They had me believing that we were going to be these successful multi-million-dollar company, and we were going to own our own business and own our own life. And I thought, man, yeah, that's kind of why we wanted to start our own business, is we wanted to own our own life. We wanted to own, you know, we wanted money coming in, and we wanted nothing more than to provide financial freedom to our family, which would have been great. It looked good on paper, kind of one of those things.
Yeah, they told you they were going to retire you from your former career.
Well,
that didn't happen.
I got retired, all right, just not on my terms.
After 5 years, it didn't happen. We were waiting and waiting and waiting, and it never happened. So, yeah, when they say they can retire you, it's not true. It's not true.
Yeah, so anyways, I ended up getting terminated from my job, which, keep in mind, I did my job for almost 20 years. And because of all that was on my mind was MLM, recruit, just recruit everybody, recruit anybody. And those who, I was taught to believe that those who didn't want to join didn't want to see me succeed. And I'm new at this, so I'm like, yeah, maybe so. You know, maybe you just really show who your friends really are. You know, they don't want to check you out. They don't want to join you. They don't want anything that you have to offer them. And so I thought, okay, so we actually excluded ourselves from a lot of people in our life. And when everything was said and done, we had lost my job and
lost a lot of good friends.
We lost a lot of good friends, lost my job. And so I thought, okay, since we lost the job, okay, this is our cue to really work this quote unquote business, and let's make it happen. Let's this has got to be like a sign or something, right? So we end up trying to recruit, and we were on Facebook, we were on Craigslist, we were on Instagram, we were on TikTok, and we were just trying to find recruits all over the place. We had joined various Facebook groups, in which I had no business even joining any of those particular groups, because I wasn't from that area, and I had gotten thrown out of several Facebook groups for spamming people. Imagine that. Imagine that. Trying to recruit somebody and you get flagged for spamming. I must have had my LinkedIn account banned and suspended from several different different times. Oh my gosh, I can't even count. I've had to redo my LinkedIn account at least 20, 30 different times. And it was just like, man, why is everything going on? That's because people, my upline would say, oh, it's because people aren't believing in you. It's because people aren't believing in you. So we would go in through a Zoom meeting. And that was one thing that was involved with was Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting. Like you didn't have time to do anything because it was all about going to a meeting, going to this seminar, going to this class, going to this school, going to this convention and doing all this stuff and, expecting you to pay out all this money to go and things like that. And it was just, they preached the same message every week. We would go to a webinar, seminar, the same thing, word for word, a common cult tactic. Say the same thing. The only thing changed was the person up there on stage saying the same thing. So, needless to say, it has affected our life in so many ways. We ended up losing, obviously we lost a job. And because I was so struck on getting this business working. Now, I'm all about hard work. Now, that's why we're doing what we're doing. I'm all about hard work. But I got to have results. Something. You can't go to the gym for 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day after 3 years and still be out of shape, right? That doesn't work that way, right? Okay. Well, that's kind of what happened here.
And because you lost your job, we lost our home, we lost 2 vehicles, and we had to move back to the same place where we were originally started from. And they had you so brainwashed that it almost broke our marriage. It almost tore apart our family. And in a sense, made us homeless.
Yeah, that's...
Thank God for family, because otherwise we would have been homeless.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And so now we're trying to dig our way out of this hole that we're in, and it makes me so mad because, we thought they were the only people on our side. We thought they were our friends, that were not blood, but became family. And that turned out not to be true either, because it turns out like the only person that was on your side was me. And he said that, in front of you, he would say, oh yeah, she has your back. She has your back. She's been talking to me. I even told you that I was talking to him, and he agreed to that. He said, yes, she has been talking to me to further your career. And behind my back, he goes and tells you that I am your downfall.
Yeah.
That I am the reason that you're not succeeding, when the only one that had your back was me. And, he fed us lies and more lies and lies after that.
Every time we wanted to have like a celebration with our anniversary, and the individual knew that we had our anniversary and would continue to have a Zoom meeting. We got to have a Zoom meeting that day. I'm like, that's our anniversary.
Yeah, we were having an anniversary, and he and I were going to have a steak dinner. And whenever he found out about this certain individual, he had a major fit, told us that was not going to further our career. And I said, well, I'm sorry, but this is our anniversary, and this is what we are doing. And he continued to badger and badger and badger James and myself, Big Jim. And so finally, I looked at Jim, and I said, well, maybe we should, go ahead and do this, because maybe it's some information we haven't learned before. We haven't heard 1,000 times before.
I was unemployed. This was my career, so...
And so he bribed us with a steak dinner that he would make our anniversary dinner for us and everyone else at the meeting. Well, when we got to the meeting, yes, they did have the food ready, but Big Jim and I, we were not able to spend any time together. We were not able to sit together. We were not able to study together. We were actually forcefully separated into different rooms and fed a bunch of crap.
How about when we went to convention? We slept in separate rooms.
Well, it was
kind of
it
crap
was the
was
builder
that?
School.
What kind of crap was that? Like
It was. They separated the men from the women.
They separated us.
They separated couples.
Husband and wife. They separated us. I was like,
and we had to sleep on floors, on couches, on chairs.
and the reason why that happened was because we didn't have any money to get a hotel room, so we ended up bunking in with a bunch of other people who, everybody knew everybody. It wasn't like a super big deal, but after like waking up, you're like, oh my gosh, we went to a fancy hotel and we didn't even sleep in the same room. That's, at the time we didn't see it. Well, I didn't see it at the time. I was so wrapped up into this thing. I was so brainwashed that I was like, you know what? I got to get this thing going. We've got to get some recruits. We weren't even worried about sales. And unfortunately, the money that you make with commissions, with sales, it's not very much. So you almost have to recruit. And it's all just... And I know everybody, a lot of other people who have gone through these have experienced the same thing as us. And, after losing everything, I had spent my dad's retirement money on just to pay rent because he believed in me that we were going to fire this thing up, because the individual was calling up my dad and saying, yeah, he's going to make it. I've seen it. He's going to make it.
And we didn't ask for this money from your dad.
No.
It was the other individual who called your dad and played on his sympathy.
Yeah. Played on my dad's sympathy. And so we ran through a lot of his retirement just to make ends meet because, again, this was my career.
And your dad believed in you.
Yeah. Yeah, this was my career. This has to start making some money. And it ended up, I spent at least 12, 16 hours a day in front of the computer, Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting, sometimes with other people. And
we accomplished nothing.
We would accomplish absolutely nothing.
In
we
the
would
5
get
years
no
that
recruits.
We were in there, in the 5 years that we were in this company, we made maybe... $500-$600, and we probably spent upwards of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, at least we spent a lot more than
we spent a lot more than we gained. That's for sure.
We lost a lot more than we gained. That's for sure.
Yes, we did.
So yeah, when it came down time to pay our rent, guess what we didn't have? We didn't have rent money. Guess what else we didn't have? We didn't have recruits. And we had no commissions at anything. I wasn't allowed to work anywhere. There were several reasons behind that. Number one, I was having seizures. Yeah, believe it or not, I had seizures working this business.
Yes, the company, I believe this is what caused these seizures, because you were going through so much stress on a daily basis that your body was it was short-circuiting.
Yeah, because...
Not kidding.
Yeah, other than, yeah. And I was having heart problems left and right.
It was taking a toll on your health. And even when you were in the hospital room, you had to be admitted to the hospital. They were still calling you and still telling you to recruit and still telling you to go on Zoom meetings.
Yeah, while I was in the hospital, I'm on a hospital
you got
bed
needles in your arm and, IVs and... attached to a heart monitor, and the doctor's like, no stress. And then this individual keeps calling you and telling you
saying, dude, you need to get into this meeting. You need to get into this Zoom meeting. I'm like, I'm in the hospital, but okay, it's my career. And by that time I was pretty well brainwashed into believing everything that this individual was telling me. And it was just we lost everything.
How about whenever we had to keep rescheduling our daughter's 13th birthday party?
Yeah.
Around this company's events that they had going on.
Yeah, we had to reschedule a lot of birthdays.
And she said she would understand. You know, our 13-year-old, when she was 13, she was wise beyond her years. But, you know, I look back at that and I'm like, why did we do that? Oh, yes, brainwashing, you know, of course. But, you know, we did have her birthday party and we had a big blowout bash for her. And
we ended up having a good birthday party.
Yes,
for her.
we did. But that whole day, we didn't get to spend it with her because we were in meetings. And then finally in the evening time, we finally got to have her pool party. You know, and it was horrible because we always had to rearrange our life around this company.
Yeah, so when we lost our house, we ended up moving into a fifth wheel. And let me tell you what, putting 3 people in a fifth wheel, we're good now. But
needless to mention, it's a very small fifth wheel.
It's a very small fifth wheel with a dog and a 15-year-old kid along with us. Very small. And it was just not a pleasant thing. And finally, something just woke me up and snapped out of it. And I literally woke up and I was like, what the hell am I doing? What the fuck is going on here? Why? What have I done? I'm sitting here looking after I told my upline, I said, I quit. I can't do this no more. We've lost everything, almost each other. And that was the last thing that we needed to lose was each other. Yeah. The one person who had my back, I was getting ready to, I would have eventually left her because they would have talked me into it. It's just flat out. That's how much control these MLMs have on people. They prey on people who are weak, who are vulnerable. I shouldn't say weak, but vulnerable. You know, me, I was so impressionable. We grew up with no money. We didn't have any money growing up. And same with Annette. And we wanted to start our own business. We knew that we weren't going to get rich working our jobs. We knew that. With the way the economy is, people, you know, companies took away the pensions, you know, and we had these cheap, crappy 401ks that were not going to be good enough for retirement, especially if we were to retire today. Holy moly, with the inflation up, no way. And but that's what the kind of control these people have is they will control you if you allow them to. They will control you in every aspect possible. And I don't know what happened. Something happened. Something snapped inside. I don't know. Maybe I don't have any idea. But I just, after all these brainwashing and everything, there was still a little piece of Big Jim left, and I quit. I finally quit. Everybody was so excited that I'd quit.
Except for that individual.
Except for the individual. And
when you went to go look for another job with that same, around the same kind of
sales field.
Sales field, yes.
Yeah.
That wasn't an MLM. That individual called you after how long? A year? Over a year?
Almost a year.
And was chewing you out because you were looking for, you know, employment elsewhere in the same field. And I'm really glad you got to talk to him that day, because even though he was still trying to get you back on his team, I'm glad you told him and gave him a piece of your mind that you had been waiting to give him for a very long time.
Well, and that's it. It's kind of a. So this, to me, this is kind of what we're doing with this episode. Like I said, I know that we usually do funny, zany, crazy, hilarious episodes,
and we're still those people.
We're
just on a serious subject.
Yeah, today. we're just telling you our story and how the Big Jim Show became the Big Jim Show, and why we're going this route instead of through an MLM. After I had quit, I had realized, I had looked around, And I realized that we didn't have a Christmas. We didn't have a Christmas tree. We had to rely on pretty much, yeah, it was just awful. And you know, I had realized that all this was nobody else's fault except mine. I'm the one who made all these calls. I'm the one who pushed myself. I'm the one who, you know, unintentionally lost my job, because who wants to have somebody work for them if they're going to be trying to recruit other people at work, right? Yeah. Nobody. So potentially they couldn't just fire you over that, but all you had to do was just mess up one time, and there you go. So out of all this, I seen what I had done. I had taken the entire burden of everything on myself. And let's just put it to this way. Had I been a weaker individual, I probably would have gone through it and done something really drastic. I'm not going to say what it is, but we'll let you guys' imaginations run wild on that. Let's just put it to this way. I would have left. And I don't mean down the street left. The idea had popped into my head because look at what you've done. Look at what all this is because of you. All this. You have made your family homeless. You have taken your dad's retirement money. You have made your family not have Christmas. You have taken away birthdays from your daughter, all in the name of financial freedom, which never happened.
If anything, it did the opposite.
It took away from us. So needless to say, we just we thought we'd share our story with MLMs. There's a lot more to it, but we're trying to make things into a smaller 30-minute episode. And if
you ever run into something like this, please, to all of our listeners, to all the people out there, please just don't do it. Run the other way, because it will ruin your life.
If anybody comes up to you and says, "Hey, I have a opportunity for you," and you don't know who the individual is, oh, dude, I was contacting people that I hadn't seen since high school, 20 years. I'd friend them. And I'm like, these people didn't even talk to me very much in high school. Here I am trying to recruit them, And guys, if you have anything like that happen, don't hate the individual.
Just don't do it.
Just don't do it. Don't hate on the individual. The individual is vulnerable at some point in their life. Don't hate on them, but kindly tell them, hey, you're not going to want to get into this.
You're not interested.
And then please share this podcast with everybody. I know there's a bunch of people on YouTube that do the same thing and talk about nothing but the cults of MLMs, which again is multi-level marketing.
Do your research.
Do your research, guys. If you have to, I know it's cliche. If you have to pay to play, basically is what they say. Don't just run away. Just tell people, hey, I'm not interested. Be polite about it. Don't be a dick about it. Just say, you know what? Hey, I'm not really interested in this. I know what this is. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're vulnerable in any way, shape, or form, you're new in town, you're looking to start a business, you're looking to get out of your current career, guys, if anybody,
keep your job.
Keep your job. Don't do what I did and drag your family down. I'm damn lucky that I have a good wife, because she has every justifiable reason to divorce me, like flat out. And there's nothing keeping her here other than her love for me. And I'm just being honest, guys. If anybody comes up to you, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, anything like that, and they don't tell you what the name of the company is, oh, what's the name of the company? Oh, we'll go over that with the interview. Guys, run. Just run. If you use your gut instinct, run. Check it out. There are some companies that are legit that recruit that way. Or hire people that way. It's a little shady, but there are legit companies. But as soon as they ask for money to join, guys, back away. It's not what you think. It's not gonna be. It's not gonna be your road to success.
No, it's not a road you want to go down.
It's not a road you want to go down. I'm telling you right now, this is
yield and take the nearest exit the hell out of there.
Get out, and get out. Don't fall for these people's dreams. Don't fall for their schemes, because all it takes is just for someone to be vulnerable, and that's it.
Even when you're broke, busted, and disgusted, you know what? Run the other way. Because after 5 years, we're still broke, busted, and disgusted. So just keep running. This is the only thing we can tell you. Just don't do it.
And that's with working 16 hours a day on your quote-unquote business. So, guys, if you have any other stories that you've experienced with that,
or know someone who is going through the same exact thing,
or someone who's going through the same exact thing, absolutely. You got somebody that's in an MLM that you deeply care about. Hey, share this podcast with everybody.
Share this podcast. Share our story.
Yeah,
let them hear this.
Yeah, let people hear this. And I'm telling you right now, this road is not something you want to take. So, with that being said, we love you guys, and season 4 starts next week. Well, actually, this is kind of season 4. We just wanted to start it off by telling our story and how we became us. So this is why we do our podcasting. This is why we're always happy-go-lucky, fun-loving people, because
that's who we are.
That's who we are. We've been down dark paths, and
we're still looking at the positive.
We're still looking at the positive. So, it's just be yourselves, be positive, and be true to yourself.
We love our listeners,
and we love all you guys, and we hope you guys learn something, gain something from this, and we will leave it at that. And you guys have yourself a wonderful day, and keep checking us out and keep listening to us. We're going to be all over the place. We've got some new strategies coming up. We're going to be going to a retro 80s and 90s nostalgia.
That'll be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
That's when we grew up.
Yeah.
Big Jim and Annette, you know what?
That's right.
Big Jim show.
That's
We're going to be back to our normal selves after this podcast.
I'm excited. So, yep. So keep us in tune, and we love you guys. Peace out.
Bye.